Welcome to the Vinyl Pickins segment. I'm Dan Weiss, creator and owner of MFile Music Theory and Songwriting, where we are helping you gain control of your creative passion and power so you can become the musician you are supposed to be, making the most amount of impact with your music by creating the music that you hear in your head. Today we're going to be talking about another great selection from my record collection, but first I want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so that you don't miss any of my super amazing, life-changing content when it comes out. Let's see what I have in store for us. So, our record for this week, Curtis Mayfield, Back to the World. Try and get it so there's not so much shine. There we go. Sorry, Curtis. Man, what a powerhouse this record is. It's so good that it, in more than one occasion, has brought me to or close to tears. Especially Right On for the Darkness. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. It is just huge. And if anybody knows Curtis Mayfield from a more pedestrian or casual association, they usually know the Superfly soundtrack, which is an incredible album. I mean, it's a movie soundtrack, but I feel like it stands so much on its own in popularity beyond the movie. More people have heard that album than have watched that movie. I'm fairly certain. But it's a really strong Curtis just stepping into his own. You know, he had a few, probably 3 records before that, and they're very big. He's a huge composer, which I really admire because it's not him relying on somebody in the studio to write all these big arrangements with all these horns and strings and everything else. You know, he knows exactly what he wants to get out of these songs in these very large arrangements. And so he went really deep into it on Superfly, which was awesome. And, you know, he gets a lot of fame and success and big Hollywood money. And so now, you know, this is the next record, 1973. And it's kind of like taking all of these lessons and all of these things that he's been focusing on for so long. I would say it's the pinnacle, but I'm also very partial to Sweet Exorcist, which is just incredible. But this album specifically is a really, really awesome study of, from a songwriting perspective, large ensemble writing, mood, because it's one of the funkiest records, but it's also got some very deep, emotional kind of pockets where it just takes you there, you know, and it's so wonderful. But also some very tough, dark material in the lyrics. He's a very, you know, I wish he were alive today to see all of the stuff going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, how hard people are fighting for equal rights among the races, because that was what this guy stood on. He was very much about the civil rights movement and moving people to improve and be better than they were all the time and move things forward. And he was an angry guy, and he had tons of reasons to be angry with the state of the world that he was in. And there is no shortage of that on this album. It is emotionally charged, it's racially charged, but it really speaks to a purity of kind of filtering emotion and hope through all of that anger and just creating one of my favorite albums of all time. So that is Curtis Mayfield, Back to the World. Notable track for me was Right On for the Darkness. That one is like one of those moments that just changed my musical life for the better. Because I was cooking and that song came on, and by the end I had spaced out and I had to turn the stove off and go put this song on again and really listen to it. Yeah, so that's my suggestion. I hope you like it. If you don't, still check it out and just find what you can learn about it. If you want to learn more about any of the topics discussed on today's episode, or if you'd like to expand your horizons so you can make the most amount of impact with your music, please be sure to check us out at mfile.ca.